That's the Mesiras Nefesh of our generation, not to be shamed by the scorners. Second line on the last sheet, last page. Vayidei avodah the Mesiras Nefesh, to the avodah Mesiras Nefesh, who befragt, and particularly, Shel Mesiras Nefesh nimsheches is drawn down to pe'elus and affects binyanim pratim the Torah mitzvahs, the details of Torah mitzvahs. Yidei zed nada d'shnas hamelech. Our avodah down here brings about the reaction about. And that was the amazing idea that the Rebbe says in terms of pshat and nada d'shnas hamelech. Nada d'shnas hamelech is that the king's sleep moves, that all the positive reality of sleep is drawn down into this world in a revealed way. Relative to us, so that's Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh is taking sleep as a case when the Keiches HaGeluyim, the revealed powers of the soul, are elevated up to their source in Atzmus. Mesiras Nefesh is when Atzmus penetrates and expresses itself through the Keiches HaGeluyim. So we're connecting the highest level and the lowest level, bringing sleep down into conscious state. So too the world itself, that very lofty level of godly reality which is hidden during the time of Golus, comes into a state of revelation. And that's nada d'shnas hamelech. Shenimshach ha'or, it's drawn down, ha'or shelamayla mi'ishtalshlus, that's beyond seidu ishtalshlus, va'ad, to such an extent, b'sefer zichrenis divrei yomim, one of the things the Rebbe said to us yesterday, that the king, what did the king do after Nada Shnas HaMelech? So he went into Sefer Zichronos. Okay, so what does that mean? So the Rebbe explained that means that this revelation of very, very powerful godly reality penetrated into the realm of time. It was revealed in time. The Sefer Zichronos Divrei Yomim, Shoresh Zman, the source of time, Vazman, and time. Meaning that level in metaphysical reality, which is the source of time, metaphysical time, and physical time, whatever physical time means, meaning the time that happens down here in the physical world. Va'ad, sheviyu nikroim lifnei hamelech, to such an extent that they read this in front of the king. In other words, this was revealed. Gam lifnei hamelech achashverosh kepshutei be'elam hazeh gashmi. Also, now that I was going back to the story, and this is the great chiddush of it all, also in front of Melech Achashverosh kepshutei be'elam hazeh gashmi, where did this happen? Which is orchestrated by the Eibishter in such of Achashverosh, of the Achashverosh on. We are servants of Achashverosh. In other words, we're still in Golus. That also, when we're found in a time of Golus, we're still found in a time of Golus. And that means what? Din to machuz dinner. That means there's certain limitations on the Yid. Mordechai and Mordechai is only the helper of the king. He's not the king. He's the prime minister, but he's not the king. In gam az, even then, what do we see? We see a certain expression of. Unless I get rid of it, Okay, sorry. Just throwing rockets at the Galil. That's all that was. Yeah, I don't know why it does that when it's in the Galil. I put in Svas, but every time there's anything in the Galil, my phone goes. So I don't understand why. So we're still. Mordechai is only the Mishnah of the Melech, even and so therefore we're in a state of Golus. But even then, what do we see? We've got a taste of Geula. Not the ultimate geula, but a taste of geula. What's that? Even then, one of the prophecies regarding Melech HaMashiach and Yeshayahu is that the kings of the world will be your helpers. So here it is, the king, the most powerful king in the world, is basically on a certain level. Now, he's obviously not bottled to Mordechai and Esther. He's not bottled to them at all. But he's acting as if he is. Whatever you want, I'll do. Right? So it's a taste of geula. The geizrim al elu, it's a geula that shayach, interestingly enough, just one of the aspects of it that's interesting. It's not talked about so much in Chassidus, but other people love to talk about it. Mordechai is from what Shevet? Binyamin. Right? So Binyamin is Yosef, Rachel. This is Mashiach ben Yosef. It's not Mashiach ben David. That's Yehuda. That's the ultimate Geula. This is setting the table for Geula. But it's not the ultimate Geula.
Wasn't he also descended from Yehuda?
He's an Ish Yehudi, yes, but he's really Ish Yemini. Right? That's the limitation of the Geula also, right? That he's from, who else was from Shevet Binyamin? The famous king, Shalom Melech. So Shalom Melech set the table for David Melech, but ultimately it's not supposed to go through Shal, it goes through David. So to Mordechai, which is Rachel. Rachel seems to be the essential wife of Yaakov, but obviously isn't. Who's Yaakov been sleeping next to for the last few thousand years? Leah. All comes through Leah. Obviously, Rachel is very important. Right? But it's all through Yehuda. The whole story of the Geula then, right? Who sets the table? Yosef. Ultimately, once Yosef has set the tables, then Yehuda says, okay, enough. And then Yosef has to blow his cover. And basically, Yaakov takes over. And he's enough, Yehuda takes over, and Yaakov takes over. Right? Yaakov takes back his rightful position as the head of the family and the one who's ultimately making the decisions. And that's powerfully expressed when Yaakov and Yosef are dealing with Yosef's children. And Yosef, who has been in charge up until now, says, this is the way you make a bracha. And Yaakov says, no, this is the way you make a bracha. Right? The whole story is so amazing. It's all of Jewish history. Vayu Malach, that's Sefer Bereshis. Right? Sefer Bereshis is called Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation. And what's created, I understand that the first chapter and 2 chapters are about the creation of the world. Why is the whole book called the book of creation, which is translated in English Genesis, right? Which is a proper translation. That's how Chazal called the book. What's being created? Jewish history. The Ramban explains all of Sefer Bereshis relative to what's going to happen later. He shows that the simplest expression. So we went into Golas 3 times in Sefer Bereshis. So first, Avram Avinu went to Mitzrayim, then Yaakov went twice. Yaakov went for a short time to Babel, and then Yaakov went for a longer time to Mitzrayim. Okay, so those are the children also. First went to Mitzrayim. That's the beginning of Shmais. That's chronicled again at the beginning of Shmais, because now it's not creating history, it's part of history. And the emphasis is not on the Avos going, but on the children going. Then after Bayis Rishon, we leave for a relatively short period of time, like Yosef is in Babel. And then after Bayis Sheni, so there's a long Gullus, and that Gullus ultimately results in a very, very, very powerful Geula. So that's Mashiach, that's the Gullus we're in now. It's all there in Sefer Bereshis. So Purim is the taste of Geula. It's not the ultimate Geula, but it's a Geula, and that's one of the astounding things about Purim, is it's a Geula that happened while we're still in Golos. The king all of a sudden becomes our friend. It becomes someone who works for us. And they decree on these that at first these people who were in opposition to Yidden and to Yiddishkeit, they should help the Yidden. To such an extent that there was an ishafcha chashuchal in the Hara Marira Misko. There was a nahafoichu. There was a transformation of the darkness to light and bitterness to sweet. And how do we see that in the story? Bedugma shahaya b'mei Mordechai v'Esther. Shamelech Achashverosh gazer ala melech sheyelech v'yachriz lifnei Mordechai Yehudi. That the Melech Achashverosh made a decree on the Menagid, we know his name, that he should go and he should cry out, Lifnei Mordechai Yehudi, Kach Yasa Elisha Sher Melech Chavetz B'Yikara. Poor Haman ended up the ultimate, poor Haman, meaning he should rot, right? But the ultimate enemy of the Jewish people ends up praising the Jewish people. Malchus Shalaylam. V'gam lahavdil hamelech HaKashverosh kipshutei. Right? So the Eibishter is helping, but obviously also HaKashverosh kipshutei. Va'ad, to such an extent, the Shirley Yehudi might say it was simple v'sas and vikar. Pasuk we say every week, Avdallah, but also where's the pasuk come from? From Megillas Esther. V'chein ti'alanu. And what's this? Eira zu Torah. Eira is Torah. And what's Torah? The Torah gufa. Eira, light, lashon nekeva, the feminine aspect of Torah, which is what? The Kal Torah Shabal Peh. That aspect of Torah that gives birth and multiplies. Torah b'feirusha, Torah with its explanations. Shemimenu yotzes Eira l'kol olam kula. From that Torah goes out light to the whole world. Simcha is Yom Tov. Sasin is Milo, which of course was banned during that time, but Yidden did it anyway. Vikar elu tefillin. The huksha kol Torah kula tefillin. The whole Torah is there's a hekesh that connects the whole Torah to tefillin. V'yesh laim the kelo gam tefillin demari alma. And you could also say that this includes not only the tefillin that we wear, but also the tefillin that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wears, like the Gemara in Brachos. The Gemara in Brachos says that he sanctified us in his mitzvahs. That means the Eibishter does mitzvahs, so therefore the Eibishter must wear tefillins. And then the Gemara asks, Maksi Yisrael goya echad ba'aretz, who's like you, Yisrael, one nation in the world. Hainu shenika. What's the vikar of tefillin? What's tefillin? Absolutely recognized expression of the Eibishter's love for the Yidden. Hainu shenika begilui hamayla di Yisrael nada d'shnas hamelech. That's the end of the discussion on Purim. I mean, sort of. I mean, misma geula legeula, and we connect one geula to another geula, which generally relates to connecting Purim to Pesach, relative to what halacha?
Which one of the other aleph or other bet we hold Purim in, because we want to have it next Pesach. We do it another bet.
Idiot, this year. The reason we didn't celebrate Purim already is because we want to be misma geula legeula. The next month is Purim, not this month. Meaning it's Purim. The next month is the real Adar. Right? It's therefore Purim. Right? Shemi geula zu, from this geula, the Yehudi might say v'simcha v'zas and vikar. Purim is man shenimsam adayin b'regaim achronim shel galus. In a time, of course, now this mimer was said on Purim, right? In a time when we're still found in the last moments of galus, so we celebrate Purim in galus. But Purim's all about geula. But Purim's all about geula while it's still galus. Yavei b'smichas miyad, so that will come in great proximity, legula mitis v'shlema, to the true and complete redemption with Mashiach. Shemalachim emnaich yaviu es bnei Yisrael ka'asher yaviu bnei Yisrael es mincha b'kli tahar el eretz hakodesh. Right, we're going to bring the korban mincha. Right, eretz asher tamid eni avay elokecho ba mireshus hashana v'ad achri shana. The place where the eyes of the Kadosh Baruch Hu are looking down from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. Right, pasuk that Rebbe quotes many times relative to the safety of Eretz Yisrael. V'sham gufa b'Yerushalayim. Where's that all going to happen? In Yerushalayim, Kiryas Melech Rav, the neighborhood of the Melech, David Malka Mashiach. V'sham gufa b'Har Kodesh, and there it should be in the Har Kodesh. U'b'mikdash adni kainu yadechu, in the base of Mikdash. V'kol ziyah b'eifin shel zrizus. This will all happen with alacrity. V'ad l'zrizus b'tachlis l'mayla mikom medida v'agbola, with incredible, infinite, immeasurable, unlimited alacrity. Va'ad ba'eifin shel ad lo yoda. It'll happen in such a way, ad lo yoda, it'll be so fast, we won't even know what happened. Just boom. That is also, the Rebbe doesn't mention it here, but that's also one of the aspects of Mashiach that the Rebbe talks about. The Golus, the Rebbe talks about. The Golus, who says, Neisei Afachim. Golus is a state where two opposite states of reality can exist simultaneously. That's why Golus can be transformed into Geula immediately. Neisei Afachim. Golus and Geula can happen in the same macrosecond. It can be Golus and then immediately Geula. Why? Maybe that's what we'll learn that sikha. I mean, I'm trying to. I don't really want to take on a serious project because I'm not going to be so serious. once the wedding happens, so it'll be, Wednesday morning. I assume I'm not going to make it to Chassidus. I hope you guys won't either, because you'll be celebrating at the wedding, and you'll also not be able to make it to Chassidus. Thursday should be okay, but that week could be a little haphazard depending on what's happening. I assume Sunday morning is going to be, after Shabbat, Sheva Brachas. Then my kids are making a Sheva Brachas, Mitzi Shabbos in the same place up north, and then we're all coming there. So I don't know what's going to be Sunday morning. Sheva Brachas is an incredibly exhausting week. Absolutely exhausting. It's very nice. But I'm not such a social butterfly that I really want to go out every single night. But that's what you do. You go out every night and have a major meal. And the balabasta who's cooking the Sheva Brachas doesn't take into fact that the people who are coming to the Sheva Brachas have been doing this for 4 nights in a row. So they cook up like this is the only Sheva Brachas. It's very nice, but it's hard work. It's not much hard work. It's enjoyable hard work, but it's still hard work. So maybe Taka will just do something a little different. We'll look. It'll only take that'll take us 1 or 2 classes. We'll see. We'll see what we're gonna do. What the next major project will be Shteyasar. So probably do that once the wedding festivities finish. That's a serious project. So as Matan Sorain Besimcha Rabba will dance with great joy, Shalamayla Mikola Medida Vagbola, without any limitation in their Gula Mitis Vershlaim. With the coming of Mashiach, Bimhedu B'Yameinu Mamish, that should happen speedily in our days. Shekola Yehudi, Shebamesha Kola Daughters, that all of the Yidden, throughout all the generations, B'Reisham, and at their head Nasi Dareinu. And now when the Rebbe says Nasi Dareinu, he refers to the Frierdiker Rebbe. When we say it, we mean the Rebbe. Mordechai Yehudi v'Esther Malka, Mordechai Yehudi and Esther Malka, Kulam Yigalu B'Yagolas, all of them will be redeemed from Golas. Shleimus Agula, complete Geula. B'Yachadim Shleimus Ha'am. And it's obviously something that the Rebbe talks about a lot, and so would even throw into the Maimer with Shleimus Ha'am, the wholeness of the people, Shleimus HaTorah, the wholeness of the Torah, Shleimus Ha'aretz, the wholeness of Eretz Yisrael. The 3 things that have to be Shalem. So the Rebbe talked many, many times in terms of so-called politics, Israeli politics, Shleimus Ha'aretz, Eretz Yisrael has to stay whole. Shleimus Ha'am, so that was Mi Yehudi. Shleimus HaTorah, obviously, that the Torah has to be the Torah. They can't fiddle around with the Torah and change things. U'boifen the Yarchi b'vaylakeches gevulcha, in an oifen that the Eibishter will widen your boundaries. Gam eretz keni knizi v'kadmeni. We know b'Yibes Mashiach, not only will we be zeicher to the lands of the 7 nations of Canaan, but also to eretz keni knizi v'kadmeni, which is me'ever li'Yarden, the other side of the Jordan River. Ve'ein mikri, the deeper, more sophisticated meanings in any particular verse. There's also the pshat. The pshat is always there, and it's also true. In the world of pshat, what's that? This world. The world of action. That's the most important world. In the foundation. Needs of love. That all of the 4 worlds are ultimately standing on. This world is the Iker. So to speak, a Kadosh Baruch Hu is standing on the world. That in simple terms, that immediately there should be the true redemption, the Kol Yisrael, all of the Yidden should Mesha Kol Adoros that have lived throughout all the generations. Neshamas Begufim, they should all come back as Neshamas in bodies. Al Yedei Mashiach Tzidkenu, through the agency of Mashiach, B'Yimhedu B'Yameinu Mamesh. Okay. You're on holiday. That's it. You finished early. It's like late in the year. You finish early and then you go play in the swings. You can go play in the swings now. Okay, you're very special mimer. Very, very special mimer. Tafshin Mem Dalet. Actually, interesting. We're going to learn that Sikha. We'll learn that just as a break. We'll learn a Sikha Parshas Pinchas. Just a certain chelik of the Sikha. Just an amazing thing the Rebbe says. It's Tafka Tafshin Mem Dalet. This was said Tafshin Mem Dalet. So that Sikha that we're going to learn is also Tafshin Mem Dalet. Parashas Pinchas Tafshin Mem Dalet. We'll do that tomorrow. See that? Mem Dalet was, of course, the famous. I mean, you've all seen the video where the Rebbe yells, "Keravel, taint, turn the world upside down." Today. So that was your best Thomas Tafshin Mem Dalet. This was printed in Tafshin Mem Ches. Right? You see, that's when it came. As a Mugadik Maimon, it's so interesting at the end. Maybe doesn't say it because it hasn't happened yet, but there's this. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20, right? But there's this hint of a certain nafeichu, certain transformation that's going to happen, where people who were enemies of Yiddishkeit are going to support Yiddishkeit, and that started happening a year later in Russia. That was the amazing events of Mem Tes and Nun, when the Russian government, which was the greatest opponent to Yiddishkeit in the world, started paying for Yidden to get on planes and come there. It's just crazy. So that when the Rebbe's talking, you can taste it in the end of the mimer here. Even though this was. Well, the mimer was said 5 years before, but the Mugadik mimer was written a year before. The end is all that's all written at the end. The Mugadik mimer. So let's say that. Okay. So we're supposed to finish perfectly on time and finish the mimer at 8:30, but it didn't happen today. So and you can review the mimer. The Iker point of the mimer, comparing sleep and gullus, and just like both of them have advantages, they both have disadvantages.